8:30, we'll talk with Rapides Parish Superintendent Jeff Powell. Normally, we have him on at 7:30 on the third Wednesday of the month, but we had to get a little creative today. He's actually down at the Superintendent's Conference in Lake Charles, so he'll join us on the phone, but that won't be until 8:30. So in the meantime, it's you and me.
All right.
As well as our listeners.
Tons to talk about.
We do have a lot. So you attended the city council meeting last night. Anything interesting, big?
No, it was pretty cool, calm, collected, and very quick for an Alexandria city council meeting, unless it's changed since I've last left.
Well, they always say like the sausage is made in the committee meeting.
Exactly.
So
they had one finance committee beforehand, nothing crazy. Well, interesting thing, they're having a pickleball tournament over at the zoo, and the city has sponsored it, so that's interesting.
Is that right?
I think it's a fundraiser for the Friends of Alexandria Zoo, FOTAZ.
They're doing it at the zoo, in the zoo?
Stay tuned for that. I have to check on that. But they're sponsoring it. I think it's a fundraiser.
The only place they could do that would be like that courtyard area where they have the food court or whatever.
It could be. I just don't think that would. I don't know.
Probably not in the lion's den or anything like that.
You have to hit it between the flamingo's legs.
Exactly. But they do have the tennis courts just right down the street. I don't know if they could set up the pickleball.
That probably seems like the most sense.
Yeah. So it's a fundraiser for the zoo?
That's what I gathered.
Okay.
I'll reach out to the city to get more deets.
Have you taken Sophia to the zoo yet?
We haven't. That's on the agenda.
Oh, I'll bet.
Yeah. She'll love it.
Oh, yeah.
We really have an amazing zoo. It's really, 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 really cool.
I thought you were going to say you have an amazing daughter.
Oh, she's amazing too. Yes. I feel like we're in a zoo sometimes as well. We're making it. We're happy.
The energy of a little monkey, huh?
She's starting to get in that age where she has like a personality.
Yeah.
So it gets to be a lot more fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know anything about raising kids or.
I've heard about it.
No,
read some books.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was one of your news stories that you covered yesterday. You were out and about, and we're kind of busy again. So what else did you cover yesterday?
So, golly, I forget there. I hate to be like, there's so many. What was the last one I did? Oh yeah, we found out what happened with AT&T. Nathan hinted at it on the morning show here. Basically, there were two fiber cuts for AT&T. One was a contractor who they say accidentally cut it when they were working in the area, and the other one was a copper theft attempt, and that caused all the service chaos that we saw here on Monday across Central Louisiana when your phone service was out. Very isn't sometimes not really what you expect, but that was an issue, of course, and I'm sure we'll talk about this. Blake Miguez, a state senator from New Iberia, announced that he is running for Senate against Bill Cassidy, so they'll be in the primary together along with John Fleming. Those are kind of the biggest names in that race. And I had another one. Let me think about it. But there was another one that I was covering. Also, a little announcement, Jack's Drinks on 28 West, their owners posted on Facebook that they are shutting down their Coliseum Boulevard location on the 22nd, but they will keep their Pineville location open and the location in Alexandria on Jackson Street open.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's Jack's Drinks, as you call it.
Yeah, they've been there since 2008, they said.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you wonder, is it a business thing? Is it a worker thing? Because it does seem as though, and I was kind of almost wondering that with why we have so many Mexican restaurants in Alexandria, and I was thinking maybe it's because they can find workers for those restaurants why they can't for a lot of other restaurants.
I couldn't tell you. You just never know when it comes to, I guess, the businesses bottom end. Their money, but basically I think that's their biggest location. The Jackson Street location is more of a drive-through.
Okay.
The Pineville one, you can sit down at the bar. It's really nice. Well done. That's in Kingsville. But that was their always kind of their staple on Coliseum Boulevard.
I hate to hear that.
Yeah, I do.
That means some workers will be losing their jobs, or hopefully they can be repositioned at those other locations. So,
but kind of a staple for daiquiris in Central Louisiana. Always a really nice, clean, awesome place. So I hate to see that for them. But hey, they're staying open with other locations, and we're glad to hear that.
Yeah, the whole daiquiri thing was kind of new to me when I moved down here in 2000.
I can imagine.
Wait, there are drive-through things?
Yeah, if you just have a paper on the straw, it's a closed container.
Not that I wasn't familiar with places that sell alcohol.
I was
regularly.
about to say, when I went to Wisconsin with you, there was beer in the daycares or whatever.
Yeah, it's somewhat ubiquitous up there.
Oh, it definitely is.
We have about as many bars as there are Baptist churches here in Louisiana. So,
but it's not like bars, like little grimy bars. They're just like family get-togethers. It's kind of like a brewery you would see down here.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a Huckleberry.
That's true. Yeah, yep, for sure. So.
But another restaurant announcement: Popeyes. Have you been seeing that construction on North MacArthur? I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yeah, right over here.
You're seeing double. There's 2 Popeyes.
Right.
The old one's going to shut down Friday, and the new one opens up on Monday.
That new one took forever to get built. I swear it took at least a year. I've never seen something take so long.
I guess maybe they can take their time if the other one's open right next to it.
That's true. Yeah, but it looks like it's going to be really nice. I mean, it's kind of odd that you would build a new one right next to the old one, but I don't know what's going to become of the old one. Is that just going to be torn down? Or?
Well, wouldn't he have owned that old building, the Antunes?
Yeah.
Because that was the Taco Bueno.
Oh.
Wasn't it?
Was it? I don't know.
I want to check on that. But they own the same.
I miss Taco Bueno.
I know you do. You used to love Taco Bueno.
It was more bueno.
We used to, in our previous employer, we used to eat those all the time for this football show we used to do.
Oh, really?
Didn't we? Yeah, we did. And Outlaws.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And pizza.
Yeah. Well, when Antunes was the sponsor, we either had Outlaws, Popeyes, or there was a third one. I don't think it was pizza, though. Pizza was a different.
It was Johnny's Pizza.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess.
Or was it BJ's?
They mixed it up through the years.
Oh,
but
Lord.
I want to say when I was there, it was always the Antune.
It was.
But there were 3 options, and I can't remember the third. Anyway.
Outlaws.
Neither here nor there.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure that out and get back to you on that.
It was always fire when it was Outlaws, though.
Hey, somebody commented, David, he goes, the manly sport of pickleball. Hey, it is.
Hey,
people love pickleball.
He recently took it up. That's why he's saying it. And he and his son, Chris, play, and they won a tournament like the first time that he played. So.
Oh, cool.
So he's like an instant success in the sport.
Well, it's kind of a sport that's picking up across the country, especially if
it is. Yeah.
I don't want to say.
Hey, one more story we want to get to before we get to the calls. You made a post about the Sugartown watermelon stand.
Oh, yeah. I thought you'd get a kick out of that one. Now we have time, or are we going to tease that?
Okay, let's tease it.
Yeah. Stick around to find out who went to the Sugartown watermelon stand in Beauregard Parish. You won't believe it.
Right, because we do have a call coming in. So we want to take that. Our phone number on the BOM Bank talk line, 318-442-8255. And let's take the call. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for taking my call.
Speaking of pickleball.
I know. Sorry to interrupt the normal stuff y'all do in the morning, but I wanted to castigate our local TV station, Channel 5, for shamefully playing upon the emotions of a mother who had just lost her son. I don't know if y'all saw the 10 o'clock news last night. I don't know why I still record it. It's worthless, but
I didn't see it. No.
There was a shooting in Marksville, and they're still investigating. Louisiana State Police have been called in, a deputy-involved shooting, and that's horrible. And I don't know any of the details, and neither does Channel 5. But instead of trying to give good news, they put the mother on display, and they led off with the sentence, "There are too many young black men being shot by police officers." Now that is undeniably untrue. That the stats, all of the shooting stats, prove that is nothing but emotionalism, and it's just, I guess their ratings are slipping, and they're trying to, but it causes the exact thing that they're decrying to happen, because young men, when they're told over and over again, you're just a victim, these people hate you, they want to kill you, then they go out and it saps their vitality and their ambition to make good things of their lives. And there is no reason why anyone in America today cannot tell you. We know the stats. If you stay off drugs, if you finish high school, if you get a job, keep a job, if you refrain from having babies until you're married, you will be successful in the United States of America today. And anyways, I just got so worked up. I tried, but that you can't comment on any of their stuff. And none of their Facebook allows comments. I tried to.
Seriously?
I can't find a way.
Huh.
I've tried to in the past.
Maybe they blocked you because I see comments.
They may
here.
have.
Yeah.
They may have. They may have. But I think they know they're wrong. If they don't know they're wrong, then then there's only juveniles working there.
So say that again. What was their exact wording?
Their exact wording on the lead up to the story was, because there are too many young black men being killed by police today.
Wow.
And then they show this story, this mother, they show some woods, they show some police markers, and they have the Louisiana State Police representatives come on there and say, we're withholding everything, so we know what all has happened, which is wise. They try to inflame sentiment against the police. Now, look, if that police officer was wrong, I don't know what happened. But the police, need to be held to an account. When we give a person, a man or a woman, a badge and a gun and the discretion to use it against citizens, yes, they need to be held to a very high standard. No, everybody is for that. Nobody wants anyone to be shot by the police errantly. Mm-hmm. But just to assume that this was racism, that's what they're charging with that statement, mm-hmm. and then to put it on the air, and it was the biggest story on the 10 o'clock. I know it's only 30 minutes, and most of it is weather, but I just got so worked up about it. I hate it because I know it young men will see this, and it will stoke that feeling in them that I can't make it in here, so let me try some desperate measures. Anyway,
and the statistics don't bear that out from what I
not at all.
I mean, it became the narrative after George Floyd, but there are people that have looked into the statistics, and it's not quite that at all. So,
and what's bad is a lot of government people try to manipulate those statistics in large cities like Chicago and LA. Sure. They no longer report their shooting statistics because they don't want the statistics to say what is really happening. So anyway, thanks for letting me rant. Y'all are our only source of good news. So you got a heavy burden on your back, Stephen. Thank y'all for what y'all do.
Well, thank you.
Y'all have a great day.
And you know this, Alan, whenever stuff like this happens, the general thing to do in television news is you go out and talk to the victims. Right. You try to. I don't necessarily agree with it all the time. I don't necessarily like it because you're dealing with people who are going through trauma. They're victims in themselves if you lost a family member. And so when you get pressured into doing something, you might do something you might later regret, which is going on camera. Yeah. And I don't know. It's just one of those things. And a reporter did a book on this back in the day called Trauma Beat. Maybe we're going about it all wrong. Not going after victims' families immediately. Maybe there needs to be an intermediary.
I saw where CBS did a sit-down interview with the parents of the state legislator from Minnesota who was shot along with her husband in that horrific event over the weekend. And I mean, people in that moment are trying to process everything emotionally. Is that the best time for them to talk? Now, if they reach out to you and willingly want to, but
that could have been the case. Yeah. You never know.
That's right. But I mean, and you interviewed Trooper Wallace the other day. This investigation is very preliminary. We have no idea. We have very few details on what led to that shooting incident down in Marshville. So to speculate, and especially to insinuate, it's some sort of a typical pattern that really the statistics don't bear out. I mean, that's regrettable in my opinion.
It's a tough situation because you also have to find out maybe the other side of the story. But like you said, it's super early. Yeah. I like to personally let the investigation play out. Let authorities give more information, and I will talk to the family if they want to speak out eventually. It's just I like to give people space and time, and I don't think sometimes being too much of a bulldog could come off as people don't like that as much deep down.
All right, we need to take a break. More Talkback coming up.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Hasbro is reportedly cutting about 3% of the toy maker's workforce, or fewer than 150 employees, as the company realigns its structure, according to Dow Jones, which reports that the move comes as Hasbro deals with higher costs because of tariffs. The report notes that in 2023, the toy maker slashed almost 2,000 jobs. General Mills is joining Kraft Heinz in removing synthetic food dyes from its U.S. products by the end of 2027. The move will do away with ingredients such as Red 40 and Yellow 5 from its brightly colored cereals like Lucky Charms and other products including Betty Crocker frosting. Futures have been fluctuating this morning as investors look ahead to the Fed wrapping up its two-day meeting today. Officials are widely expected to leave borrowing costs unchanged for a fourth straight meeting as they await more clarity on how government policy will affect the economy. Chair Jay Powell holds a press conference after the meeting. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
This summer, the Rapides Parish Library is getting all jazzed up. It's RPL's summer reading program for all ages with weekly entertainment, creative crafts, and toe-tapping fun. Don't let that summer slump slow you down, especially for the kids out of school. Keep your mind sharp and imaginations grooving by reading what you love, logging your minutes, and winning awesome prizes. Books, fun, and freebies. Now that's music to our ears. Register today at your local branch and get all jazzed up all summer long with RPL.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BON Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BON Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
Talk back. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK.
Okay, we're back on Talkback, 442-8255, BOM Bank Talk Line. We have some more calls coming in. Good morning, you're on Talkback. Hello?
Morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Hey, I'm going to inject a bit of sarcastic humor.
Okay. We always will
Speaking
take that.
Okay. It's kind of what you may boo hiss me. Are we taking bets on how many shootings there'll be tomorrow?
How many shootings will be tomorrow?
How many celebratory shootings? What's tomorrow?
Oh, tomorrow's June 19th. Yeah.
There you go. Every year I count, there's at least two.
You hope not. Yeah.
I hope not. And I know that's a bit of sarcasm.
Right.
But, or what do you call it, graveyard humor?
Yeah. Yes. I understand what you're saying.
It's really sad. They need to focus on what it's about and people not get mad at each other.
Well, it's kind of like, when you have teams win sports championships and then the cities where they win it just end into chaos overnight with cars being burned.
Is that not crazy?
Yeah,
or
it's
what?
like, what are we doing? Or even when you had the protest riots in Los Angeles, the week before last or whatever. I mean, so they're protesting ICE by breaking into an Apple store and stealing all the devices. Like, how is that? That's not protest.
That's just opportunistic.
Yeah, it's opportunistic crime. Absolutely.
Or a shopping spree.
True. So crazy.
Or maybe they were looking for some fruit. You never know.
You never know. All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate the call.
I don't know if we have an influx of that on, Juneteenth. I don't want to say that.
Right.
Of course, you don't want any holidays to get out of hand, of course, but
yeah,
I don't know if there is an influx on that.
Hey, we had a follow-up on our Facebook page. Someone writes, Adam, hey, Stephen, listen to you on the replay, and you mentioned Logan's didn't want to renew its lease. I checked out the HVAC in the building, and they had 1 of 6 AC units working correctly and no makeup air. They would have easily had to spend $100,000 to $150,000 to get the mechanical systems back up to par. 100% it was avoidable if they would have maintained and repaired them as they went along. Just thought I'd give you a little more detail to your reporting. Thanks for coming back. We're happy to have you. Breaking news or bringing news to the town.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, whenever they first closed, they said AC issues.
Yeah.
And I had an employee tell me, we've had some air conditioning issues in the past. That's what they told us at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then they say, we're not going to renew the lease. You kind of assume maybe that might be what it is. You just can't really say it unless, we know for sure. But yeah, That's interesting. Would not surprise me.
Yeah.
That's right on par with what I've heard.
And he has an HVAC business, so he may have been over there checking it.
Yeah.
So
hey, I've not bought a house because the AC unit was a little squirrely.
Oh, really?
We were through the whole thing, and then they're like, well, it's 20 years old, and there's a good chance. I was like, I'm already paying too much for the house anyway. Ain't no way.
True. I heard you with the Matt Ritchie segment yesterday talking about that, and I know you want to be a home buyer eventually, but
we've been completely, I've been on the fence, on the cusp for like 4 years, and it just doesn't make sense for me. I know there's some people
Yeah.
it might make sense for.
Right.
In my situation, I can probably, with what I want to pay a month, get a better apartment
Yeah,
than I
that's
could
true.
a house.
That's
I'm
true.
not doing a fixer-upper. So, there ain't no way.
Got no
My
time for
handyman
that.
skills, I ain't got time for that. How am I going to cover Popeyes and stuff if I'm
City council and
city council?
yeah, all over the place. All right, let's get another call in here. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Good morning, Alan, Steve. How y'all doing?
Great, sir. How are you?
Great, man. Welcome back, Stephen Alexandria.
Thank you.
They
Glad to be
leave, but
back.
they leave, but they come back, man.
That's right.
Some of them, yeah.
We love
I just
it.
want to make thank you, man. Thank you. I just want to make a suggestion this morning. That's all. It's so much to talk about, but we're in Louisiana, talk about food. Here in Alexandria, I think we could use a good catfish house. I think that would be pretty good,
That's
if
a
we
good
could
point.
get one on this.
Uh-huh.
If we could get one on this side of the river, I think it would be pretty good. Cajun does pretty good across the river. They've been in business a long time, But on this side of the river in Alexandria, I believe we could use one. It's been a while since we had a good catfish house.
What's that one on 107 in Pineville?
The Cajun
That's the Cajun
catfish.
catfish. That's a good one.
Yeah. I think we could use one, though. Somebody's out there that's got some money and on the roll the dice, I think they could do pretty good with one. But thank y'all. Y'all have a good day.
I agree.
Hang in Alexandria. It's going to get better, man.
Yeah, I agree. Let's
For
get
sure.
a catfish house. Al, you want to drop like $500,000? I'll do the other half.
Sure.
Just,
Hey, if I'm going to invest in a restaurant, I'm bringing a culfish.
I know you are. Cheese curd house or something. No, that's a good point. Well, would Tunks be a catfish house? Do they do fried? They're not like technically a catfish
Right,
house. Okay.
right. That's a good, that,
Tunks does have good food. So.
outstanding.
Yeah.
But
That's interesting. That's a good idea.
they used to have Paradise Catfish in Ball, but you remember it burned down.
Yeah, that's a
Now
good way.
they open
too.
up like a little drive-through spot there across the road, but of course, I'm not a seafood eater, so it
Yeah.
doesn't. But I know people that really do love it, and catfish is popular.
You like catfish?
No, I don't like any fish. I'm just not a seafood guy.
Good Lord. It has to be like.
But I was bummed
Beef
because
or
Logan.
beef?
Yeah, I was bummed because Logan shut down. Well, it's one of my go-to spots. So
Yeah, it's so weird. Like you won't eat vegetables, seafood, except
I'll
for
eat
a wedge
vegetables.
salad.
Yeah, I love wedge salad. Yeah. In fact, because Logan's was closed the other day, we went to Outback, a friend of mine and I, last Friday. And what did I get? The lunch special,
You
which
got the wedge salad.
was a steak and a wedge salad.
I went to Sam's the other day, got these big old sirloin steaks. I've been eating on them for like 4 days.
Oh,
That's
wow.
all I've been eating.
Yeah,
I think my jaws gained like 6 inches of muscle.
carnivore.
That's right.
All right, another call. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Well, I like going out to California. One of the reasons I like to go out because all the great healthy places you can eat.
That's true.
There's no healthy place here.
Steven, you're a health guy. Do you find any healthy?
I just try to find non-fried items. That's my goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in Louisiana,
Salad
that's a
Station's
challenge.
fantastic.
Salad Station?
That's a gym.
Okay.
You can go in there and you can get some salads, top up with whatever you want. It's like a buffet of it. It's like like Moe's but salads, right? Or Javi peas.
Yeah.
And they do good stuff. Good soups, good sandwiches too, if you want it. Baked chicken.
Baked chicken.
There was another place. I don't think they're open anymore. Okay, they closed down after I left. There was that place on Versailles.
Okay.
I forgot the name of it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do.
And you just find healthy items at different places. But like for a health place, I don't know. Maybe a salad station.
Yeah. Eating healthy is a challenge.
You get used to it.
Especially on the run. I mean, at home, it's different. You can make.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to eat out or whatnot, you
just kind of learn the tricks of the trade,
That's
right?
true.
So
Yeah.
you like if you're going to Mandarin, which we hopefully will go to this week.
Yeah.
Maybe skip the tiny spicy chicken and get the chicken chop suey. Kind of stuff like that.
With the sauce on the side.
With the sauce on the side. That's what I do.
What Steven does. He gets the sauce on the side.
However,
and he dips it in there.
I did, and I'm just using the same amount anyway. I went to Tiny Spice. I got Tiny Spicy when we first moved here. First thing I got.
Wow.
And I did not
You
hold
missed it?
back.
You missed it?
I love it. I think Alexandria has really good places to eat. I didn't live like in Los Angeles or New York, but I lived in Shreveport and Panama City, and there was different options. But I mean, I didn't
Right.
I don't feel like I'm missing much, to be honest with you.
Well, that's good.
You know?
Hey, we need to take another break. Back after this.
KSYL.
Summertime in Sinlaw is here. Time to explore. Feeling adventurous? Go biking or hiking in the National Forest, or camping at the many recreation areas that offer canoeing, kayaking, boating, and fishing. Fun for the whole family. Check out the animals at the zoo, on a petting farm, or at a drive-through safari. Love golf? Then hit the links. And for those with a taste for freshness, don't miss our farmers market. Want more ideas? Go to explorealexandriapineville.com. 2 cities, 1 epic summer.
So, June has finally arrived, and you don't have to have a thermometer to tell it's hot outside. Keep your home comfortable all year long with Southern Air. Now through the end of June, get a comprehensive AC tune-up for only $69 per system. Book your appointment by the 30th to lock in this special offer. Don't wait until your cooling system fails on the hottest day of the year. Act now, let us bear it. Visit southernairnow.com or call 318-777-5555.
Talkback. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK.
Okay, we're back. To the phones we go. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Yes. Am I on there?
Yes, you are. Go ahead, sir.
So, my family and I have traveled and we've seen all 50 states. And we always look forward to coming home to eat.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
We've seen good things across the country, but there's been some oddball hole in the walls. But here, there's a multitude of things that you can get. And as far as fish is concerned, Smack and Max ain't a bad spot.
That's it. I knew I was forgetting one of them. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. But y'all have a great day.
Hey, he ain't lying. I mean, we got some good restaurants here. I love it.
One thing that can always get the phones lit up is we start talking about food.
Hey, here's this, and this cracked me up. When I lived in Panama City, you know what all the most popular restaurants were? By far, couldn't get a table. Everyone went there.
I don't know.
Cajun restaurants.
Really?
Louisiana-themed restaurants.
Okay. That makes
and they're
sense.
like, so when we moved there, I was like, hey, what's the place to eat? And they said, oh, so-and-so is just this Cajun place. Like, well,
that's
what I'm used to, you know? Packed 24/7. They were from, I think, Thibodeau. I talked to them.
Huh.
But yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool.
The Panhandle in Florida is like Little Louisiana.
Yeah. My sister and brother-in-law, we met in Biloxi a couple weeks ago, and my brother-in-law was saying that they have a really good Cajun restaurant where they live just south of Charlotte.
You're like, let me be the judge of that. As long as it's not seafood.
Yeah.
Cajun chicken.
Exactly. All right. Well, we mentioned earlier in the show, or Stephen did, that there was some breaking news of the political nature yesterday, and that was State Senator Blake Miguez announced that he is jumping into the race, the primary next year, for the U.S. Senate seat currently held by Bill Cassidy. Miguez is a Louisiana state senator. Might not be a name on your radar, but I know among especially a lot of the conservative Republicans in the legislature, this is a guy they look to and feel very strongly that he's got a good chance actually against Senator Cassidy. So that makes, at least in terms of that we know of that have announced so far, obviously Bill Cassidy is running for re-election. State Treasurer John Fleming, former congressman, former member of the Trump administration, and also Dr. Sammy Wyatt from the Shreveport area has announced as well. But none of them, I don't think, made quite the impactful announcement that Miguez did on his social media yesterday. I want to play for you some of his ad that he posted, and then we'll make some comments right after it. Take a listen. This is Blake Miguez, state senator, announcing his intention to run against Bill Cassidy for the U.S. Senate.
I voted to convict President Trump. I'm Blake Miguez, and I'm running for the U.S. Senate because Bill Cassidy sucks. I'm a 7th-generation Louisianan and a world champion sharpshooter. Only politicians like Bill Cassidy can't shoot straight, but I can. Ultra-processed foods are slowly poisoning our children.
So what he's doing here, he's taking like paint cans that have labels on them, like Marxism and other things, and he's hurling them in the air, taxes, and he's shooting them, and they have like colors inside of them.
With his Kimber gun.
President Trump is already in America, but he needs our help. President Trump needs a senator to support him full time. No more part-time election season Republicans. We're done with DC phonies. Down here, loyalty matters. We don't flinch, and we sure don't forget. I grew up in a working-class family, worked our way up. Like so many Louisianans, I fought through hurricanes, hard times, and government incompetence. Politicians didn't pick us back up. Faith, family, and hard work did. Government's been broken. Trump is fixing it. Do you want a senator you know will have Trump's back? A straight shooter who doesn't flinch when it's time to fight? I'm your guy. We're done being fooled by weak Republicans. I voted to convict President Trump. Bill Cassidy had his shot. He missed. I won't.
And he shoots and blows up.
Prove this message because it's time to pull the trigger on real change.
Okay, so that message goes hard.
I mean, it's the expected route you would expect someone to take against Cassidy. And it could be enough.
It could be.
I just think it's weird we're in a time, like, this is my observation, where it's almost like a virtue to be like, I am completely loyal to our leader, no matter what. I was like, you're a separate branch of government. I don't know if that, to me, that doesn't really speak to my heart, even if I like the guy.
Right.
But that's an obvious route and probably a smart route to take in today's political environment.
Well, and after Cassidy voted to convict President Trump after he was impeached the second time, that hangs like an albatross around his neck. And we saw, like, when Sheriff Stephen McCain of Grand Parish a couple weeks ago came out to endorse Bill Cassidy, I looked at the comments. Every single comment was negative. Every single comment with people in this state, the rank and file voter, they do not like Bill Cassidy, at least the ones that are strong Trump supporters. And when you look at parishes like Grand Parish, it's like 90% voted for Trump. So that's probably not the place you want to endorse Bill Cassidy.
I wonder what, like, New Orleans, however many few there are, New Orleans, Jefferson, Covington Republicans, how they're going to vote. But yeah, you're right. It's going to be a hard thing to overcome. And he knew that when he voted on it. So, I mean, you can give it to him at least. I
don't think he ever expected Trump to come back like he has.
That still could have hurt him, though, anyway.
It could have.
Was president.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think it would have hurt him as much, but, you know, it certainly does now.
I think he would be in almost the same hot water. It's obviously worse now, but if Kamala was president.
Trump, if you notice, in a lot of ways, though, he can be magnanimous at times. I mean, he and Cassidy, I don't know if patching it up is the right word, but without Cassidy, RFK Jr. probably doesn't get through the confirmation process. And I know Cassidy's been sitting in on a lot of the discussions about the big, beautiful bill, and he's working on that too. So it seems like at least there's been an olive branch there, but voters are a totally different thing. They don't see it from that standpoint.
I think that if Trump doesn't actively campaign against Cassidy, then that would be like, hey, I'm giving you like a tiny bit of an olive branch here, but I'm not going to endorse you. You know? But we'll see. I mean, if he stumps down here for Miguez, that would be very interesting. And he's been known to come to Louisiana to stump before.
We'll have to work on getting Miguez on the show.
I texted him. I mean, he's usually texted me back, but I figured he's busy and has.
He's from where?
New Iberia.
New Iberia. That's
Lafayette
right.
area.
Okay, yeah.
He was part of that fiscal hot group back in the day. He's also part of Louisiana's Doge.
Okay.
So, fiscal conservative, been very. If you follow Louisiana politics, you know his name.
Yep.
If you don't, you probably don't, unless you live in, you know, Lafayette Parish or New Iberia. So it'll be interesting. I mean, we've been hearing about it for weeks, and it happened. But I reached out to him. We'll see if he responds.
Yeah, I bet he will at some point.
I'm sure he reach out to his campaign.
He probably got inundated yesterday after making the announcement.
Probably from Fox, CNN.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's pro Second Amendment.
I would say so. He's probably got, if he's a champion sharpshooter, which I didn't know, he probably has like a nice $1 million Kimber sharpshooting gun. Isn't that what they use in the competitions?
Probably.
Kimbers?
Yeah.
I always, when I have a firearm, I had a Kimber box. And so I always would carry the box around and say, hey, and it would be like a high point.
I forgot you've got a little bit of a shooting background.
Well, I'm from Allen Parish.
That's true. That's one of the things you would do for fun.
You don't have a pacifier, you go up with a 45 or whatever.
All right, well, let's take another break. More coming up.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
All of us have that one friend who can just light up the room with a smile. And sadly, how many of us are just a little bit envious of that friend? Well, here's the good news. The folks over at Today's Dental in Pineville can deliver that beautiful beaming smile. Over the years, hundreds of hopeful patients have visited and been completely satisfied. They've made getting dental implants an amazingly simple, low-anxiety procedure, one that's affordable for anyone's budget. The staff at Today's Dental go out of their way to make you feel comfortable with calming in-office IV sedation that's administered by a highly skilled, certified nurse anesthetist. And their multiple finance options make the entire procedure truly affordable. Isn't it your turn to light up that room? Give Today's Dental a call at 448-4540. It's a general dental facility on Highway 28 East in Pineville, owned by Dr. Jonas Gauthier. That's 448-4540.
Craig's Cleaners is now looking for some good employees. In particular, Craig's is looking for people with cashier experience and who have a valid driver's license. It's a pretty sweet job, too. Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. till 6 p.m. with no weekends. Wow. That's right. Here's your chance for every weekend off. Wow. So if you're interested in working for Craig's Cleaners, please apply in person at Craig's main location at 1746 Elliott Street, Alexandria.
Now back to Talk Back, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYL.
All right, we are back here on Talkback on this National Picnic Day. But you didn't know that. It's also National Panic Day. Weird. But National Picnic Day, and what is the best thing you can have for your picnic meal?
Probably a Sugartown watermelon.
Sugartown watermelon. In fact, NBA Hall of Famers enjoy Sugartown watermelons, apparently.
A whole trailer full.
A whole trailer full.
Yeah, he bought a bunch of them. So, okay, I was on Facebook. One of our viewers or listeners sent me a link to Sugartown Watermelon Stand that's in Beauregard Parish, right next to where I'm from, by the way. We used to go to that stand all the time. And they posted that Scottie Pippen and his brother bought a trailer full of Sugartown watermelons. Turns out his brother, who lives in Arkansas, comes down all the time for him and brought, just Scottie Pippen to the middle of nowhere.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, I have the picture on my Facebook page.
Yeah, I saw
Check it out. So,
what are they going to do with that many watermelons? Are they going to...
Friends and families.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know if Scotty was on hard times and they're having to sell them, but
I know that I could probably eat as many as that are in that trailer. Have you had a Sugartown watermelon?
I want to say it. I don't know. Maybe not.
There's some posers.
Yeah.
They're top notch. There's something in the ground out there. I don't know what it is. It's the sugar in the Sugartown. I don't know.
Makes the sugars more intense.
It is so good.
There's nothing better than a good watermelon, though.
Oh, it's my favorite. Put in the refrigerator.
Yeah. Get it nice and chilled.
My grandma used to put salt on it. I thought it was a travesty. My gosh.
Yes, I love salt on my watermelon. Is that more of a Midwest thing, maybe?
I don't know. I see people do it down here, too.
Oh, because you get the salt and the salty and the sweet together?
I think I saw someone put lemon in theirs one time.
Lemon, okay.
Kind of the same idea, right?
Yeah, well, you do you, as they say, right?
Yeah.
But no, I love salt on my watermelon.
It's just not as good as without it.
Yeah.
It's not horrible.
There's nothing better, though, especially this time of year. I mean, I walk out the door this morning and you're like, we're back in the soup. It's like 70 degrees out it's not even the hot part of the day, but that humidity is big time in the air right now. So if you're out doing any kind of work, mowing the lawn, whatever, you come in all hot and sweaty, there's nothing better than tearing into a watermelon.
You go mow the lawn, then you have a watermelon, and then some Leinenkugels, summer shandy.
Oh, there you go.
That's pretty cool. I mean, if you know anything about that area, there is nothing except like a gas station.
I think one time I was driving with you there, and there was some gas station that has burgers or things.
The Y?
Yeah.
It's got good stuff.
Yeah, you love that place.
That was it.
So listen right in. Stephen, you are correct. Sugartown melon is amazing. I will eat it till I'm stuffed and wishing I hadn't eaten so much.
That's me. I almost throw up every time. Food, very good. Hey, I'm going to tell you all about a public forum on education when we come back if we have time. Can I do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got 20 seconds.
Okay, so it's going to be 6 o'clock June 24th, the Pineville Community Center on Main Street. It's put on by the Retired Teachers Association of Rapides and the Sinlaw Retired Teachers Association. Jeff Powell will be there. They invited lawmakers. It's just talking about the changes in laws and some of the changes in curriculum and teacher retirement and stipends, all sorts of education stuff.
All right, we can ask Jeff about that at 8:30. Jimmy Sawtell coming up next here on Talkback.
You've been listening to Talkback. The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Sinlaw Broadcasting.
FM 104.9, AM 970, KSYL, and KRRV 100.3 HD3, Alexandria. It's 8 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Iran's supreme leader is speaking out as President Trump considers ordering U.S. forces to attack Iranian nuclear facilities. CBS's Deborah Patta has details from Tel Aviv.
Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei has warned that any U.S. intervention in the conflict with Israel would be met with serious consequences. He said they do not respond to threats and they will not accept any imposed peace or war.
Some lawmakers in Washington are pushing to limit President Trump's ability to launch military strikes. A resolution's been introduced that says only Congress can declare war under the Constitution. 24 Site News, Julie Grace Brufke.
Now, it would prohibit any type of escalation of military action without congressional approval if it ultimately passes. Now, John Thune isn't in a huge rush to bring it to the floor. It's a privileged resolution. There's a handful of conservatives. I mean, we've seen Thomas Massey on the House side, but largely leadership's kind of stood with President Trump on this one.
Mr. Trump is expected to sign an executive order this week, extending a deadline for 90 days for TikTok's Chinese owner to sell the video sharing app. Tech contributor Insure.
This all started half a decade ago when President Trump accused TikTok of being a national security threat and said that he would try to ban it. Ever since then, a number of lawmakers in the United States and around the world have actually instituted such bans.
The Federal Reserve meets today, and it's expected to leave interest rates right where they are. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
Pretty likely that the Fed is going to remain patient, take a wait-and-see approach. Remember, last year they cut rates by a full percentage point. They haven't made a move since last December. That means short-term interest rates, the Fed funds rates, remain at 4.25% to 4.5%.
Overseas, they're unearthing a tragic chapter in Ireland's past at a former institution for unwed mothers.
Specialists in Ireland's County Galway have begun preparations for the excavation of what's believed to be a mass burial of newborns and toddlers up to 3 years of age at the site of one of the many now notorious mother and baby homes run by the Catholic Church. The remains were discovered 9 years ago, dumped in a disused sewage tank. Family members and survivors will be allowed to watch the work from a distance. Vicky Barker, CBS News, London.
An unexpected announcement from the UK's Princess of Wales. Prince William's wife, Kate Middleton, has cancelled plans last minute to attend today's horse races at Royal Ascot. Kensington Palace says she needs to find the right balance in her recovery from cancer. This is CBS News.
A word from Progressive Insurance. Life can be hard, so Progressive can make bundling your home and auto easy. Hope that helps. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Do you have a drug problem? Do you want to stop? Well, there are folks who can help. Call Narcotics Anonymous at 1-585-DON'T-USE or visit their website at larna.org for more information.
Louisiana Radio Network, I'm John Burns. Beginning August 1st, kratom will be illegal in Louisiana. Andrew Greenstein reports.
Last week, Governor Landry signed Senate Bill 154 into law, making the possession, sale, and distribution of kratom illegal in Louisiana. Grand Parish Sheriff Stephen McCain was with Landry when he signed the bill. He recalled the conversation one of his undercover deputies had with the convenience store cashier.
She said, when I run out of meth, I turn to kratom because it's cheap and it's easy to get.
And that's when McCain knew he had to get kratom off the streets. I'm Andrew Greenstein.
Tilapia has reemerged in canals near Port Sulphur 2 decades after escaping a pond during Hurricane Katrina. LDWF Deputy Assistant Secretary of Fisheries, Chris Shibley.
In very high numbers, they can displace some of the native fisheries that are in there as far as resource depletion, competition, spawning habitat competition.
Louisiana Radio Network.
Listen to the all-new Central Louisiana Economic Update with Matt Ritchie every other Tuesday morning on KSYL Talk Radio 970 AM, 104.9 FM, and KSYL.com.
Well, good morning. Partly cloudy skies with the possibility of a stray shower or thunderstorms today. About a 20% chance of that. Afternoon high temperatures will get up to about 91 degrees. Tonight, pretty much clear skies. Overnight lows down to 74. And then partly cloudy with a chance of afternoon showers or thunderstorms again for us on Thursday. Looking ahead to Friday, more of the same with afternoon highs again near 92. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian. Currently 75 degrees in Cenla.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 27 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
And we are back for hour number 2 of Talkback here on KSYL. Al Quartermont, Stephen Maxwell with you. It is Wednesday. That means it's Workforce Wednesday with CLTCC. So we've got that going for us, which is nice, with Jimmy Sawtell, the Chancellor here. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Al. Stephen.
Jimmy, good to see you,
Welcome back, man. Good to see you, brother.
You're one of my favorite Sinlaians.
Oh, well, you're one of my favorite journalists.
I want to know, I'm going to monitor this, who will go to more Senlaw events over the next 6 months? Jimmy Sawtell or Stephen Maxwell?
I could never keep up.
I think Maxwell's got me beat. I'm like, gosh,
I don't know.
He's everywhere all the time.
My life is a blur this week.
Well, I tell you, the splash that you have made has been undeniable. If anyone does not know you're back and you hit the ground running, they are living under a rock.
Somebody asked me yesterday where they can watch you, and I said, yeah, on Facebook, social media. And they're like, oh, he's not on TV? No.
Even better, you're carrying him everywhere you go. In fact, I love the post you had yesterday where you said, I was in a meeting, and multiple stories broke out simultaneously, stepped out, gave an update, went back into the meeting.
It's a lot of fun. I ate a little piece of my pork chop. Like, oh, story came back.
Yeah, you were at Rotary, right? Yeah. You were probably at Rotary. Were you at Rotary yesterday?
Actually, I was out of town at a meeting.
Oh, okay. Normally you would be at Rotary.
All right, I'm one up on him right now. So
you
missed Rotary.
Yeah, so they had Vern Osbury from LSU Athletics, and then during the meeting, the LSU baseball game actually ended. Which, by the way, I'm glad I remembered this. You can hear the LSU baseball game right here on KSYL tonight, starting at 5:30 with pregame show as LSU takes on Arkansas once again. As Les Miles.
Les Miles, yeah.
But you normally are at everything.
Oh, I love this community like y'all do. I mean, what's not to love? Probably the biggest myth is when you hear there's nothing to do in this area. Well, there's too much to do.
That's true.
There's too much to do. I love it. My wife and I, our plan is to be buried in red dirt. we love this community.
Yeah, got to change the narrative and the perspective, and you're one of the ones doing that for sure. We love it. So.
Trying to keep up with you, my friend, but lots going on. Lots good going on.
Yeah, it's summertime, and sometimes in higher education, that's the busiest time of the year because you're preparing for the next year.
We are, and we've got classes going both on the credit side and the non-credit side, but we're just continuing to roll on. We've had a really good last 12 months. Our enrollment is up 12% overall.
We have graduated in short-term training in our traditional training classes, somewhere in the ballpark of 2,500.
Wow.
And we're really proud of the fact, we talk about allied health being one of those areas that there is, you hear a crisis and you hear shortages, and those are very real. We were very proud of our students. We graduated 400 allied health professionals in the last 400 days.
Now, will most of those go right into the workforce, or will some of them go on to get a 4-year degree?
Well, a little bit of both. So, we have partnerships on the articulation side, not only in allied health, but also in business, like with Louisiana Christian University, Northwestern State, LSU of Alexandria. So we want them to do both. And those universities have made it accommodating for them to continue on. But most of our graduates, they start with us here in the classroom, and they stay local. There's some recent research that says that most of our graduates stay right here in Central Louisiana, which is a great opportunity for everybody.
And now you're accredited to your
yes. Yeah, with SAC COC, and that we are 15 months in the echo of that announcement. And I think that's one of the things that has helped our enrollment is that folks know that they can start with us in a 2-year and maybe end up at LSU of Alexandria in a business program where maybe 20 years ago, if you got your associate degree with us, then the university might say, hey, that's great and all, but you may need to start as a freshman. Now they're walking in as juniors, and our tuition has not changed in 9 years. If Rip Van Winkle woke up after being asleep for 9 years, he'd recognize our tuition for sure.
If you had my track record, I'd get out and then oh, you actually have to go back to high school. So, and I've been having people ask me about phlebotomy. Where can I get certifications for that? You guys do that as well?
We do. So on the allied health side of who we are, we have practical nursing. We have nurse assistant. We have pharmacy technician, we have phlebotomy, we have EKG tech, and those were what made up those 400 graduates in the last 400 days. And so they're shorter term training. The longest allied health program we have is 22, 23 months. And the rest of them can be done in about 9 months, 10 months.
So 400 to 400.
Yes.
That's pretty impressive. That's very impressive.
Our students have really risen to the occasion. Our faculty has done an amazing job. Our campus deans, just everybody is just putting their oar in the water and rowing at the same time in a good cadence. And we're just doing all we can to respond to the shortage.
Awesome.
Yeah, very good. So Jimmy Sawtell, our guest here, Chancellor of CLTCC. We talked about this being the summer months. Well, one thing that summer brings are camps. Kids go to all kinds of camps, whether it's vacation Bible camp or educational camps, and you guys do one that's become very popular. It's your manufacturing camp.
Thank you for remembering that. Actually, y'all had a segment on a couple months ago when we were leading up with Keisha Hamilton of Louisiana Central and Lindsey Green of our college, CLTCC. And so we had about 20 plus register for it. And it's not just let's lecture you about what manufacturing is. They go to our partners. So grateful to Louisiana Central and all of our manufacturing partners from CLECO. Of course, it's at the CLECO Advanced Manufacturing Center on 2nd Street, but Royal Martin, AFCO, several companies locally, Procter & Gamble, invite the students in a very safe setting and show them what manufacturing is all about. And, these companies are safe, sanitary, and secure workplaces. And so for students to have an eye-opening experience is great. We also have something called AHEC, which is a partnership, LSUA as a part of it as well, where we take young minds and we say, look, this is the allied health field, and we want you to be a part of it. And then we have something called Jumpstart Summers, where students are with us. They're actually high schoolers, but they take classes with us in the summer, and things like welding or nurse assistant, where they can get a leg up on their career.
Very cool stuff. So I think manufacturing camp would have been fun when we were in school.
It would have been fun, yeah. Like all these opportunities these kids have now, it's pretty impressive.
It is. And so it's let's just say it's lumber with Royal Martin, or it's products that Procter & Gamble puts out, but they also went to see Two Sisters Salsa to see how because food is a manufacturing experience as well. So a lot of cool things that happened last week and this summer in terms of those camps.
Hopefully there were samples.
There definitely were.
Did you go?
Love me some Two Sisters.
I did not make it, but the students loved it.
Oh, man.
Have you had their salsa?
Yeah.
Top notch.
It is.
It's good.
Yep.
You guys have a competition coming up too.
Yes. Skills USA is our sports or athletic department. And so we have students participate locally. Then they go to the state competition in New Orleans, Louisiana. We hosted it here in Alexandria last year, as a matter of fact. But now we have a team of students that are going to Atlanta, Georgia, and it's in It's in the Atlanta Convention Congress Center. It's right next to the Georgia Dome. It's a big, big deal. The opening ceremony it's like a rock concert, just all about career and technical education. And we have our advisors, Jamie Baroni, Kelly Montgomery, and Jasmine Washington, who are sending a welding team, Haley Burton, Angel Guerrero, and Gabe Marcotte, who are going to be competing as a team in welding and manufacturing and fabrication. Very proud of them. We've had some medal winners before.
Yeah.
And so hopefully we'll bring back a medal. But it's all about them going and experiencing and just having a good time.
Yeah, because you had a young man a few years ago that I think he took first in computer skills.
Yes,
down
he did.
there. And
Evan Jackson, who works for Royal Martin.
Royal Martin.
Wow. He was a 2-time medalist. He won a silver one year and a gold another. It's a great memory, huh?
Wow. Yeah. I run into him every once in a while.
He's a good dude. I mean, he is the, you say poster child. He is the poster child for just a young man who's just an incredible, testimony of investing a couple of years with us and going into the workforce and really making a big splash.
And CLTCC doesn't have athletics, so this is really kind of your way to show some Bobcat pride.
Absolutely. When the bus or the van is rolling out of Murray Street on like it's going to be this Sunday morning, those students are just excited. Sometimes we'll have a student that's never been out of state or never been to the state of Georgia. And then when you go to Atlanta and you got folks like Mike Rowe or other CEOs from companies that are saying, look, if America is going to be formidable in the world economy, we need career and technical education. Of course, we need 4-year degrees. We have articulation agreements to 4-year degrees, but they just make those students feel like they're a big part of workforce and economy.
That's really cool stuff. So, all right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll go over some more stuff with CLTC and things that are happening over the summer. Your calls are welcome also at 442-8255 on the BOM Bank Talk Line. More Talkback coming up.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
Close your eyes and feel the sun-drenched breeze of southern Spain. From whitewashed villages to golden beaches, this is where history meets passion. Moorish palaces, flamenco night, and unforgettable tapas. This small group, escorted by Annie and Christine in March 2026, will visit Seville, Cordoba, Granada, Marbella, and more. Join our spectacular Spain tour, beaming with culturally rich and local experiences. FreedomTravelLLC.com, your international travel architect.
Attention all real estate agents, property owners, and lenders. When you or a client needs a real estate attorney, call the professionals at Thompson Law Firm. Whether the legal matter is basic or complex, the Thompson Law Firm can accurately guide you or your client to a successful outcome. That's why numerous industry professionals have trusted the Thompson Law Firm for years. They also handle estate planning, successions, and business law. Call them at 473-0052. I am a paid non-client attorney spokesperson.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
It's Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYL.
Okay, we're back. Workforce Wednesday with CLTCC. Chancellor Jimmy Sawtell is here. You guys are always looking for ways to grow and improve. And as part of that, even not just your downtown campus, but you have several campuses in the area that are growing as well.
Yes, and we're very, very pleased and grateful to our Central Louisiana Legislative Delegation. Over the last 13 years, we've had 3 new building projects. We had a building project at our Huey P. Long campus in Winfield, and that campus still has a bit of the new car smell from about 2013 when they cut the ribbon. We have we had a really, just a really good makeover of the Faraday campus, and then of course the 2 campus buildings downtown in Alexandria. But Senate Bill 72 went through this year, had strong support from our local legislators. And we have 2 campuses that will probably have significant building projects of some sort. The Rod Brady campus in Gina, which will be a new construction, and still on the drawing board, still very fresh in terms of the session just ending, the Ward H. National Vols campus in Cottonport. And that's to respond to what you just said, growth. we're not building a building that maintains what we had. We're building buildings that speak to the 21st century. When people ask, well, why are you guys leaving MacArthur Drive? Back in 2015 when they would ask that question, I'd say, this building is custom made for 1973. I mean, when you think about it, no building that was built back then was built for capacity for computers. A computer lab with 25 computers. I mean, you were lucky if you had 4 outlets on the wall, and then you had to go and rewire everything. But the multi-purpose aspect of the way these buildings are being built is just really game-changing. And our students really have taken to these new building projects, and the excitement both in Gina and Cottonport has been off the charts.
I remember going to interview there at the South MacArthur Drive location all the time. I'm glad y'all are out.
In fact, I remember that. In fact, if you remember the day of the ribbon cutting, you interviewed then Governor John Bel Edwards on the second floor. There was something going on, and you said, "Can you find me a place where I can interview the governor while he's in town on this other?" There was some other initiative going on. That's absolutely, and so if you look at that footage, you're in our building.
I remember him and Trump were fighting with each other. That's
really?
what we talked about. Yeah.
Oh my.
Wow.
During that campaign, so yeah, it was interesting times. I remember that. That's cool. Yeah. You guys are also hiring too.
We are. We've had some retirements of just some really good employees, and so we have a dean of technical studies, which would oversee all of our technical studies programs, like welding, manufacturing, forestry, which we're big on at our Winfield campus. And then we have some instructional positions that are open as well. And if folks are interested in that, they can just go to our website at cltcc.edu/careers, and they can see a list of our adjunct positions, full-time positions. And if you want to be a part of a team that's got a mission-minded of changing lives and creating futures, we'd love to have you. Central Louisiana is so rich in higher ed. I know Jeff Powell is on today, and you think about the great work that they did. I don't know if you saw this when you were up in Shreveport before you returned, but Louisiana has always been 57, 58, 59, not 58. Let's try 48. Let's try 48, 49, 50. Yeah. Depending on the year, but now 32.
Yeah, amazing.
I mean, that kind of rebound has been extraordinary, and so all of the K-12 experience, and then we have multiple higher ed from, like I said earlier, us, LSUA, LCU, Northwestern, and others. So it's just if anybody wants to go to school, there's a college or university for them.
Louisiana's on the up and up.
Amen.
That's great to see. It's great to see.
Well, we got a little more time here this morning. In terms of future, anything planned with the downtown campus that you're looking to expand?
We are actually, because of the 12% growth that we have had, we're looking at our 4th consecutive semester of double digits. We would love to expand downtown. What we have tried to do is use every square inch, and then so a lot of our growth on the allied health front has been after hours.
Right.
So having classes as almost like you see a shifts in a manufacturing plant where we have nursing classes in the evenings. For example, we talked about nurse assistant. We have another nurse assistant program coming up September 15th. That will be an evening class for folks who are working. Maybe they're unemployed, maybe they're underemployed, and they want to come to us and start a path on a high wage, high demand, high skill career. Evening time is what we do, but it won't be long. We'll be looking at additional space. We do have an eye on a few things. I mean, just for the future, whenever you're going through an accreditation experience, they ask you, well, if your ship came in, what would you do? How would you expand? And so Gina is the first on the burner, and our Cottonport campus is right there with them. So those two will be our next. But Alexandria is, because of the growth here, has just been something that we've been planning for.
So with Allied Health, I know that obviously LSUA has some big plans for downtown as well. Does that put you in competition or more cooperation?
More cooperation. We offer, our scope and our mission is 2-year education. I don't know what would happen where we would even thinking about going into the 4-year arena. That's not our area. So the short-term training, which CNA, it can be under a semester, pharmacy technician under a semester, practical nursing, 22, 23 months. We had a significant amount of graduates in that area. We had 266 practical nursing graduates in the last 400 days. So, we want to stay in our lane, of course, but at the same time, we want our students to go to the 4-year experience.
266 LPNs.
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Across our 5 campuses, daytime classes, nighttime classes. Right before COVID, we had 9 cohorts going simultaneous for practical nursing. Today, we have around 14. So the communities have been incredibly supportive, and we don't want them to stop there. We want them to continue with a registered nursing or even beyond. The local universities have been very, very supportive.
And you can get there's some, what do you call, like, expedited courses you can get from LPN to RN or ASN?
Yes, and actually the high schools are doing an incredible job. If you're going to get an associate degree with us and you take your 5 basic classes, algebra, English, science, history, etc., if you get that at the high school level, then we just take those. You don't have to take those again when you come to us. And then if there's an equivalent, a class or two, it may not shorten the amount of time tremendously, but it makes your time with us maybe a little less intense because you're taking classes ahead of the curve.
Takes the workload off. Absolutely.
I know you celebrate success stories, and I was looking at your social media, and you have a big shout out to Melissa Dorsey, who just graduated in the LPN program. Here's a grandmother.
Yeah.
She talks about how she and her husband and 2 grandchildren live in Winfield, and she was recipient of that Brian Kubro Do It Right scholarship.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, all of those Brian Kubro Scholarship Award winners were successful. They all graduated in something. And when you think about our student body, we understand the high school graduate who goes to a university or a college. That's wonderful. Our average age is around 28. So you're going to have folks that are in their early 40s and maybe even beyond. A lot of our incumbent workers that come to us, maybe they need OSHA 10. They're coming from a company themselves who we do customized training for. They know that the sky's the limit on age. So we're very proud of our students. When you think that they've made the most of their opportunity, we tell them, if you give us 22 months in that practical nursing program, like our student did here, it changes their quality of life. It changes so much for them.
Yeah.
Conversely to that, on another topic, sometimes when you open the newspaper or you read the news online or you listen to a radio program and you see a story that maybe wasn't so positive, the first thing people think, and rightfully so, is, what if that person would have had better education? What if they'd had access to more education? Would they have made that choice? Perhaps not. And so, that's what we do in the Ministry of Education in Central Louisiana.
That is key. Absolutely.
Help make dreams come true.
We've tried.
So for someone who still, maybe they're listening to the show and they're thinking about it, how hard is it to register for classes? How hard is it to get financial help, financial aid, especially if you're older? Can you get financial aid?
Absolutely. It's never been easier to just drop in, ask for a tour. We're 63 days away from our next semester, the fall semester. And I know, Al, you're a professor at Louisiana Christian University. 63 shopping days until we get to the fall. And
it's going too fast.
I know, the summer. But we have more financial aid opportunities. We, in addition to Pell Grants, which you don't have to pay back, in addition to scholarships, we also have something called the MJ Foster Promise. And that will allow students, kind of like our system president, Dr. Monty Sullivan, has called it, TOPS for grown folks. And so if you're out of the high school experience, but you want access to thousands of dollars to take not just our, say, practical nursing or business or drafting and design or information technology, but maybe even heavy equipment operator or line worker, those programs, it can go towards that, because those, if we're offering it, there's a career at the end of the training. What's worse than us not offering a program is that we offer a program and there's no job. But anything that we offer, industry has told us we will take X amount of people over the next year, the next 5 years. And so
that line worker program has been really doing well for you.
Yes, and actually that's one of the positions we're looking for, an instructor. We lost our instructor recently, but that is one where, can't say enough for CLECO and the supporting companies like Line Tech. And if you go to the MacArthur Drive in one day, they put up like 15 telephone poles, and that's what our students practice on.
Wow.
It's not just classroom, learning from a lecture. It's, harness all of the PPE, the personal equipment you can, the safety equipment, and then they get on those poles, those wooden poles, And we even have like a line worker rodeo, and then they
Wow.
compete against each other, and it's really something to see. And just the opportunity for them to go into the workforce, making a significant amount of money with room for growth that's why we're in the game.
Yeah, if you graduate in that program, you can become a lineman for the county.
That is, or the parish. Glenn Campbell reference.
Exactly.
You can count on it without.
Yes. Yes.
All right, Jimmy Sawtell, Chancellor of CLTCC, here for Workforce Wednesday. Thanks for a great update today. We appreciate having you.
Good to see you.
Al, thank you all for letting me sub for Lindsey Green, and Stephen, to you and your wonderful family. Welcome home.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Good to see you. And I'm going to bug you about a story after this.
Come on.
All right. Sounds
right.
good.
All right, when we come back, Superintendent Jeff Powell will be calling in, so we'll talk with him next here on Talkback.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. U.S. investors are looking ahead to the end of the Fed meeting today. Policymakers are widely expected to leave borrowing costs unchanged for a 4th straight meeting as they wait for more clarity on how government policy will impact the economy. In the meantime, the futures have been fluctuating in a narrow range this morning. General Mills is joining Kraft Heinz in removing synthetic food dyes from its U.S. products by the end of 2027. The company said it will remove the colorants from U.S. cereals and foods served in schools by the summer of next year. This move will do away with ingredients such as Red 40 and Yellow 5 from General Mills' brightly colored cereals like Lucky Charms and other products including Betty Crocker frosting. And Nintendo shares hit a fresh record as the new Switch 2 gaming machine flies off the shelves. Nintendo sold over 3.5 million units of the machine in the 4 days since it was launched, far outpacing the original Switch 8 years ago. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
The clinics welcome Dr. Noah Miller, family medicine physician, to our team. Dr. Miller from Vadrine, Louisiana, is now accepting new patients. Call today to schedule your appointment. The clinics offers a wide range of services, including primary care, family and chronic care, urgent and acute care with on-site lab and x-ray. Same-day appointments are available, and we accept most insurance and Medicare. Experience exceptional care at the clinics, 1587 North Bolton. Call 445-9823 or look us up online at theclinics.us.
When buying a home or property, you have a choice for your real estate closing attorney. Fine Legal Services, LLC is a full-service title company offering residential and commercial real estate closings, title insurance, and more. Call your Alexandria, Louisiana attorneys, George Fine and Jeremy Cedars, at 318-767-2226 to learn more, or visit fine-lawyers.com. Let your realtor and lender know that you choose Fine Legal Services.
Got a big day ahead of you? Then it's best to fuel up with some of Cenla's best at Bricato's restaurant. Walk right in and just smell that home-style cooking. Place your order, take a seat, and do breakfast right till 9:30 this morning. Get fresh biscuits, eggs any way you like them, melt in your mouth pancakes, grits, hash browns, sausage, bacon, even wraps and sandwiches. And don't forget their fresh brewed coffee. Bricato's restaurant. 28 West, right across from the Coliseum. Your breakfast is waiting for you.
Well, good morning. Partly cloudy skies with the possibility of a stray shower or thunderstorm today. About a 20% chance of that. Afternoon high temperatures will get up to about 91 degrees tonight. Pretty much clear skies. Overnight lows down to 74. And then partly cloudy with a chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms again for us on Thursday. Looking ahead to Friday. More of the same with afternoon highs again near 92. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian. Currently 78 degrees in Cenla.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. Talkback.
All right, we are back here on Wednesday morning. Al Quartermont, Stephen Maxwell with you. And now time for us to shift gears a little bit. We just had Jimmy Sawtell on, joining us from down in Lake Charles. He's attending the Superintendent's Conference down there. Is Rapides Parish Superintendent Schools, Jeff Powell. Good morning, sir. How are you today?
Morning.
Hey, good morning, Al. Good morning, Stephen. It's great to be on with you guys. I'm doing well.
Got you on the road today. So what are the superintendents going to be doing the next couple of days?
Hey, so it's actually our annual conference. So it's a very engaging conference around the priorities of our state. So it's a time that we come together and collaborate. It's actually we voted yesterday. We're expanding to not just be superintendents, but also other district level executives. And so we've got about 175 folks here, and we do different breakout sessions, and some of our teams down here presenting about some of the work that we're doing. So it's a really good conference.
And I know that's just kind of the time of year that we are in with this summer. People like to think that for education, it's the time where you slow down, but really I know that there's a lot that you're doing, as you kind of laugh. Recently, you guys have had your district leadership retreat. You've had your teacher leader summit down in New Orleans. So it's a chance for people to grow and develop even before you come back in August.
Oh, yeah, for sure, Al. You know, the reason why I chuckle is because I still get, stopped in the grocery store, questioned throughout the summer. Hey, do y'all work in the summer? Or the school board office closed down? Like, yeah, we shut down, we closed schools on May 24th, and then we just open up on August 5th, and everything's just ready to go, So,
right.
Obviously, there's a ton of work that goes on, and in the middle of the work that we're doing to get ready for opening of schools, we do have opportunities to do some of these things like the Teacher Leader Summit. That's the summit that's put on at the beginning of the summer every year, where this year it had upwards of 7,000 teachers and administrators from all over the state converge down on New Orleans, and it's a great 2.5 days of just really honing in on, again, the priorities for the state and making sure that there's coherence between all the different things that we're doing. The Department of Ed really does a great job of providing meaningful opportunities for folks to engage and collaborate there. And then, of course, like you mentioned, we had our own retreat. We do a retreat with all of our school building leaders at the beginning of every summer. It really kind of sets the tone and stage of the work that we're getting ready to do for the coming school year. That gives them the 6 to 8 weeks of the summertime to hone in all the specific things that they have to do at their school to get ready for it. So it's a very busy time of the year.
I know after the legislative session, there's all sorts of changes, especially when it comes to education. Anything that you had your eye on and something that people need to be aware of?
Yeah, man, there's a lot. We actually had a session yesterday at this conference where some of our attorneys presented updates on the legislative updates from this particular session. There are several things. The biggest thing that's on everybody's radar right now is seeing how the governor and the legislators are going to deal with the amendments that did not pass last fall. We're hearing that they may be on the ballot again as early as possibly the spring of next year. The reason why there's a keen interest there is there's still going to be the opportunity to pay down a large portion of the teacher retirement debt that could lead to permanent pay raises that the systems are able to provide. And of course, Al and I've talked about this on the show before about the impact that the retirement debt that we pay as school systems has on our finances. So that's definitely probably one of the biggest things. They gave us updates on a lot of the smaller bills or less impactful things. Things like now people running for elections can purchase signs for the football fields and stuff like that. So it wasn't a really big impactful session as far as that goes. I think more of us we're more watching for personal reasons on the insurance and tort reform to see if I keep waiting to get a letter from my insurance provider, see if my insurance is going down this week.
Don't hold your breath.
Right.
And one thing that made headlines down at the legislature was how the Senate did not increase the funding for the governor's Gator program. As a public school superintendent, how do you view that Gator program? Is that something you feel like is in direct competition with what you're doing, or how do you guys kind of navigate through all that?
Yeah, so that's a complicated conversation in today's world, Al. I tell people all the time, I'm pro-parent choice. I believe parents should have the opportunity to decide what they believe is best for their children. Obviously, everybody knows that we homeschool our children. It's a choice we made as parents years ago. So I'm pro-parent choice in terms of determining what's best for their students' education. But when it comes to using public dollars, I think there's an obligation that the state has for making sure that we get return on investment and ensuring that the monies, the tax dollars that Louisiana citizens are paying are used for their intended purpose. So we fully anticipated that the Senate was not going to approve the full $90 million that Governor Landry was requesting in his budget. I think the issue that we have as superintendents and most school system leaders is if you're going to use the same dollars that we use to educate children, then anybody that's using those dollars should be held to the same expectations that we are. And if you're going to say that you're pro-parent choice and parents should have the opportunity to send their children wherever they think their child can get a better education, then somebody should have some measures as to whether or not they're actually getting a better education where those state dollars are going. And over the last 10 years, there's been 2 investigative reports regarding the already in place voucher system that proves unequivocally that students that have been recipients of the voucher program funding to go to private schools, it has not helped them academically. So I think the important piece here is to make sure that you're having an honest conversation with parents about what their best opportunity for their children is. And the only way you could do that is making sure that people there's accountability for anywhere the state dollars are going.
All right, as the young people say, that's fair. Good perspective. No, I appreciate you explaining that because, people might think it's just in complete opposition, but the part about standards, to me, that is definitely a key component of it.
What do you mean by standard? Like, I guess kind of hone down the standards, because one reason parents might want to go to a private school is they don't have to do the same things public schools do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And there's a variety of reasons that a parent may want to send their child to an institution other than their government-funded public school. And so regardless of what their reasoning is, what we should feel an obligation to is to make sure that they have all the data that says that the child's being provided a strong academic program. Because when you talk about return on investment, Stephen, the issue is this money is to make sure that students are growing academically, period. It doesn't matter what school you go private school, public school, homeschool, whatever. If there's going to be public dollars expended, taxpayers of the state of Louisiana deserve to have an investment.
Oops.
What are we receiving?
I think we're kind of losing you. You're kind of cut out on us. Yep. Tell you what, we'll take a break. We'll see if we can get that ironed out. We'll continue with Superintendent Jeff Powell here on Talkback.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
The cost of air travel is more than just the ticket price. It's also fuel, meals, lodging, parking, and time. Recalculating. The more we fly AEX, the better our chances of bringing back flights to Houston and Charlotte. Support AEX and help our community grow. Find your true cost at local.flyaex.org.
Did you know that 71% of all licensed real estate agents did not sell a single property in 2024? Hi, this is Trish Lala. When it's time to make the largest financial decision of your life, buying or selling a home, what's happening in the market really matters. The good news is you actually can still come out ahead if you place your trust in an agency with decades of experience handling all of those ups and downs. When experience matters, we're here for you. The Trish Lala Group.
Now back to Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYL.
All right, we are back with Superintendent Jeff Powell here on Talkback on your Wednesday morning. And during the summer, Superintendent Powell, I know there's been kind of the conventional thinking over the years that maybe students lose ground by not being engaged in things like reading or schoolwork. What steps has the Rapides Parish District taken to ensure that doesn't happen?
Yeah, there's all kinds of research about what the researchers call the summer slide, particularly for students that come from economically disadvantaged backgrounds. And so obviously we've done a lot of work over the last few years. We've talked about it on the show several times, just about the emphasis on literacy. What the research is very clear about is when students read 20 to 30 minutes every single day, then they are able to grow exponentially in terms of their ability to read, comprehend what they're reading, and in their enjoyment of reading. And so over the last few years, we've seen lots of growth in that area, as was released just in the last couple of weeks. The K-3 DIBELS data, which is the screener that the state has us use for literacy. Our students have grown, depending on the grade level, 10 to 15% in terms of proficiency. And we're now ranked, according to the most recent data, we went from 26th to 16th in the state of Louisiana in terms of parishes and their reading proficiency at that level. Wow. So the main data point that you and I typically talk about annually is the third grade LEAP data. So last year, that third grade LEAP data was correlated very strongly to the third grade DIBELS data. And so when we get that data a little bit later in the summer, hopefully I'll be able to come on and share with you that we've seen tremendous growth in that measurement as well. So, we try to do a lot of things to continue to promote literacy throughout the summer. We've released our literacy bus stops throughout the month of July that'll be there. We're promoting the summer reading programs that the Rapid Parish Library promotes, which is really strong. I mean, we talked about this before, there's ample opportunity and resources here in our community. We just got to make sure that people are connecting to them and making sure our students take advantage of them.
I know that over the summer you have the bus, the literacy bus, and it'll be making some stops in the next few weeks as well.
Yeah, so we've put those dates out there. I think the first one coming up is July 10th, and we really encourage folks to come be a part of that. We typically have some partners that come out, and there may be some snow cones or ice cream, but the main thing is we're giving books away. We're trying to help build those home libraries for families, so that the reading that the students are able to do is fresh and new and engaging for them.
Yeah, the dates, July 10th, Peabody Montessori, July 17th, Nachman, July 24th, Leslie Moore. Those events will be from 6 until 7 o'clock on those particular evenings. So hopefully you get a lot of folks to turn out for that.
Yeah, so, I tell you, when we've done them the last few summers, people come out, there's a lot of energy and excitement around it. And, it's just another way to build that positive attitude towards the things that matter the most. I mean, there's nothing that has a greater impact on quality of life, all these positive measures than a child's ability to read and continue reading throughout their young adult and adult life.
I don't want to put you on the spot here, but there is, I don't know if you know about it yet, but I was told you're going to be there, the Public Forum on Education in Pineville on June 24th. Kind of an information session that they're having.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's Gloria Hearn. She's part of the Retired Teachers Association. Her and her team, we've actually been working on this for a while. Okay. So really excited to go be a part of that. I think they've got me speaking for 20 or 30 minutes on some of the big topics in education right now, and then really a time of balance the time with questions and answers. A lot of times, particularly for the retirees, they want to stay engaged, and one of the things I'm excited about the most is they want to know how they can still be a part of it. Most educators are just, they're servants at heart. They love their communities. They want to be a part of the things that they've dedicated their lives to. So we're going to give them some opportunity to stay engaged and get in here and help.
Awesome. Last thing I want to ask you about, the District 62 bond. We always get updates from you on the latest projects in association with that. And I guess a couple weeks ago, you had the groundbreaking for Alexandria Middle Magnet.
Yeah, so again, lots of excitement around the biggest investment in our physical buildings that has happened in over a generation. We announced the groundbreaking for the last of the major projects. Essentially we're doing a whole new academic building for Alexandria Middle Magnet, and so we're getting excited about finally seeing some of the work done there. That was our last of the 14 big projects that did the groundbreaking on. Actually, I got to send some pictures the other day. We're finally building forms for Arthur F. Smith and getting those footings dug. We've run into, the contractors have run into several issues with, trying how far they're having to drill down to get good footings for the slabs on some of these projects. But it's exciting so that the community can really start to begin to see some of the work actually being constructed there.
That's always enjoyable for people to be able to see that. So anyway, thank you so much, Superintendent Powell. I know you've got a busy day today, again, down at the Superintendent's State Conference in Lake Charles. Thanks for taking some time with us, and we'll talk with you again next month.
Always a pleasure. Great to have you home, Stephen.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'll see you around.
Yes, sir. All righty.
Bye-bye. All right, more Talk Back coming up.
Talk Back is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talk Back is on the way.
Craving mouth-watering barbecue and juicy steaks? Head on over to Cole's Barbecue and Steakhouse, the top barbecue and steakhouse in Alexandria. Our warm and welcoming atmosphere is the perfect setting for a night out with friends or a family dinner. Indulge in our premium barbecue and steaks, fresh salads, and handcrafted burgers. Come as you are, we're ready to serve you. Visit Cole's Barbecue and Steakhouse today on Coliseum Boulevard across from the Rapides Parish Coliseum. Expect real good food.
Success is about momentum. For over 20 years, Kinetics has been moving businesses forward with cutting-edge IT, cybersecurity, and marketing solutions while keeping them secure, innovative, and competitive. We power progress with next-gen business technology and marketing solutions designed to keep your business ahead of the competition. Need seamless IT, a bold new brand, a strategy built for what's next? Don't get left behind. Move forward with Kinetics. Visit kbisp.com and take the next step today.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Broker Services, LLC. Member NYSE, SIPC.
Ooma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs. You sound very calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees. Ooma. Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Talk Back. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK.
And we are back, Stephen, and now with you, our last segment of the morning. We still have a time for a call or two, 442-8255, BOM Bank Talk Line. And thanks again to Superintendent Powell and Chancellor Sawtelle. Good show here today. A couple of things we can maybe still get in this morning. Don't forget that the LSU baseball team will be taking on Arkansas tonight, 6 o'clock in the College Baseball World Series. Basically what it comes down to is Arkansas would have to beat LSU twice for LSU to not make the championship round. And with LSU only having played 2 games so far, Arkansas had that extra game yesterday. LSU might have a little bit of an advantage there, hopefully.
It's always confusing in baseball, college baseball,
right?
Like how it works.
Well, they changed the tournament a few years ago, so it is double elimination, but then the 2 teams still standing end up playing a best out of 3. So that'll hopefully include the LSU Tigers. You can hear the game starting at 5:30 with a pregame show right here on KSYL. Also from the sports world, I don't know if you saw, it was going crazy on social media last night, but you had the Indiana Fever taking on another team. I'm not even sure the team name. Was it Connecticut? Do they have a team?
I have no idea.
But there was a moment where Caitlin Clark gets poked in the eye, and then when she responds to the player that poked her in the eye, she kind of pushes her. Another player from that team comes over and just basically bodies Caitlin Clark, and she slams to the ground.
Oh no! You know what's really weird to me right now is that we're talking more about Caitlin Clark than we are the NBA Finals. Like I heard a report on the finals this morning when I was driving in. It's like, oh my gosh, I completely forgot that was going on. And then the Stanley Cup champion was announced. I mean, they won yesterday.
That's right.
I didn't even know.
Yeah,
I usually
Florida Panthers.
I think in today's media world, you get stuck in your own little niche.
That's
and you
true.
can just block everything else out.
Well, you take something like the Stanley Cup Finals now. They're on Turner Sports, TBS or TNT, one of those two.
Oh, okay.
They're not even. They used to be on NBC for several years, but now they're not on major network.
Mm-hmm.
So I think people kind of lose sight of that. And then, as you said, the NBA has just lost a lot of its popularity for whatever reason. I have my thoughts on what that could be. I personally think some of it too is the way ESPN covers the NBA is annoying, especially with Stephen A. Smith on there.
Mm-hmm.
That people just they don't want to watch.
ESPN's host shtick is just getting really old.
It is.
The confrontation.
Well, like, I'm a Milwaukee Bucks fan, obviously. Their best player is Giannis Antetokounmpo. And the whole year, ESPN's been fueling speculation that the Bucks are going to trade him. The Bucks are going to trade him. He's going to have to be traded. And Giannis came out and said, I don't want to be traded. I want to win another championship here. I love Milwaukee. There's things I can do here. My kids go to school here.
Yeah.
There was zero reason to think they were going to trade him except for ESPN fueling that speculation.
Yeah.
And there were two guys at the game the other night. They were wearing the Dumb and Dumber tuxedos, the orange and the blue one. And then one had a picture of Stephen A. Smith like on his chest, and the other guy had the other guy who's on there that used to be a center in the NBA. It'll come to me in a second, but ESPN was trying not to show them because they were literally courtside. They were wearing these loud, colorful costumes with Kendrick Perkins. They had their cutouts of their face. I just think it's so, because the NBA is changing next year where they broadcast their games, and Turner Broadcasting lost the rights. So the best NBA coverage has been on TNT the last few years, and their post-game show with Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith and
Ernie.
Yeah, Ernie Johnson.
Hi, Ernie.
Shaq. So we'll see what happens with that next year, but it's supposed to be they're still supposed to have it on ESPN, but someone on Twitter said, yeah, ESPN will add a woman to the panel just because it's ESPN.
I just think less people care. You know, like you have so many options. You used to have to watch the NBA because it was on broadcast.
Right.
You had to watch all these things. I just don't think people care.
Yeah, you know, when I was like in junior high school, the NBA finals, they wouldn't even, a lot of times they would put them on delay. They wouldn't come on until after the 10 o'clock news because the NBA ratings were so bad.
Golly.
But then when Magic and Bird came along, all of a sudden people got interested.
Well, couldn't that be the issue? Like LeBron was, when he was young, that was a big deal. You had Kobe, you had Shaq. Now we just don't have any fun.
And I think LeBron's kind of soured people in some ways too.
Yeah, he's kind of overstayed his welcome.
Definitely. But here comes Caitlin Clark and puts the WNBA on the map for the first time, where, I mean, just when she was injured the last couple of weeks, the ratings tanked when she wasn't playing. She's back yesterday, but the league doesn't protect her, and there's so much jealousy among the other players toward her and this animosity. It makes no sense.
But it's good for whatever ratings they could get.
I guess, but if Caitlin tomorrow said, you know what, I'm sick of this, I'm quitting, I'm going to start my own league, her league would do 10 times better. The WNBA has never made money.
Well, yeah, it's been a charity effort.
Right. It's supported by the NBA.
Yeah.
And the players are so entitled, their attitudes. But there's a player on the Fever now, Sophie Cunningham. They traded for her on the offseason. And later in the game, the girl that poked Caitlin in the eye, she was going for a layup, and Cunningham took her out. And then it led to like a bench-clearing brawl. So at least one player on that team is trying to be a little bit of an enforcer. So maybe that'll help. But
I don't want to change the subject, but I don't even know if I have time to pull it up. You saw the Cruz and Tucker Carlson interview?
Yeah.
Like the whole split that we're seeing with what was traditionally what we considered MAGA over they were talking about the Iran-Israel conflict. And Tucker's like, can you tell me the population, Ted Cruz, of Iran? And Ted's like, I don't know. It was just like a weird interaction.
You've got people like Carlson, what's her name?
Candace
Owen, who are against any kind of U.S. intervention into what's going on in the Middle East. And then you have other people that feel that, you know, we can be America first and want to stop Iran from having a nuclear weapon that is in the interest of America first. So it has created a little split, a little schism. I think what MAGA people are really against, and understandably so, is the thought that we could get sucked into another war that's not winnable.
Yeah.
And
You have the Mark Levins who kind of lean more on the neocon side.
True.
I don't know if he'd call himself a neocon.
Well, did you see Trump's latest post yesterday?
Probably.
With all this stuff going on, he says, it's my great honor to announce that we'll be putting up 2 beautiful flagpoles on both sides of the White House, north and south lawns. It's a gift from me of something which was always missing from this magnificent place. He said flags will be raised around 11 a.m. These are the most magnificent poles made. They're tall, tapered, rust-proof, rope inside the pole, and of the highest quality. Hopefully, they'll proudly stand at both sides of the White House for many years to come. I just think it's hilarious that that's what he posted yesterday.
Or like we're talking about airstrikes in Iran and like how they're manufactured in beautiful manufacturing in America. We'll talk more about that tomorrow.
Yeah,
We've got tons to talk about.
We do. Thanks so much, everyone. We always appreciate you listening, and we're enjoying having Stephen with us again. Stay tuned on the Cenlar Broadcasting page for more stories throughout the day.
About to post one. It's going to be juicy.
Uh-oh. It's going to be lit, as the kids say.
Lit.
That's fire.
Bet.
You've been listening to Talkback. The opinions expressed were those